Yo, what's up? We're going to be here and we're going to break down the Bellator 238, Julia Budd versus Cris Cyborg. So Cris Cyborg's coming over to Bellator now. She's trying to take this Bellator belt. But we're going to get right into the first fight of the night with Ava Knight taking on Emily Geddes. And, Ava Knight, she's one of these former boxing champions. Well, I don't know if she's former or current. I'm not really sure. I know she still competes in boxing as well, but she's making her second appearance in MMA here and in Bellator, and in her first fight, she did get a nice knockout victory, and she's going to be fighting a 3-3 girl who's training out of Knoxville MMA, and, Gatti, she did start her career 0-3, but she's rebounded. She's won 3 consecutive fights to get this Bellator opportunity here, and she's fought some experienced girls, Kay Hansen, she fought in Bellator, and definitely is more tenured than Knight in MMA, but we're going to see if she can parlay that into a victory. And Ava Knight, she's a good athlete. I think she does have good potential because obviously Knight has great hands. She has a good jab, educated straight right hand, and good overhand right as well. Very fast, good at sticking opponents and, sticking and moving, pull countering. And she did a good job of not getting overzealous in her first match in MMA. She went forward, she feinted her way in, but didn't throw much in combination early. She kept her opponent at bay, pot-shotted, put damage on him, avoided grappling range. And in round 3, she started to open up more, push her opponent back with forward pressure, landed some nasty combinations to the body, and she took her out in the third round. So she showed some good power, but I wouldn't say she has one-shot fight-ending power. And, she does have 19 victories in boxing. Only 5 are by way of knockout. And she has been finished by strikes, or she's never been finished by strikes standing. And I would kind of be shocked if Emily Geddes is the first person to do that. Knight actually showed she's taking it seriously. She's learning grappling. She was able to sprawl on a few takedowns. She dug double underhooks and got off the cage. And she did show some greenness in the clinch where she did give up a pretty easy throw in round 1. But she did show some confidence on the ground, or I don't know about confidence, but ability to survive. She did allow her opponent to progress to dominant positions, but ultimately she was able to reverse, get top position, and she did survive a triangle and armbar. She got back to her feet and then dominated the fight, and she didn't panic, she didn't quick tap, and that showed she can battle through some adversity. Her grappling, it obviously still needs a lot of work, but I expect her to be improving each time out, and she's a good athlete. I believe that's going to be a big help in her learning grappling defense, because when you look at girls who failed in Bellator, like boxers, kind of like, Heather Hardy, I don't think Hardy is nearly as quick or as fast twitch as Knight, and Knight is a better athlete. She showed good cardio. She won in round 3, and she definitely was picking up the volume in that round. And for her opponent, Emily Geddes, she's going to have to get this fight to the ground. On the feet, she's very raw. She will turn her back. She kind of is very awkward. She'll spam kicks, body head, throw a lot of loopy arm punches. And I don't really see her being much of an issue for Knight on the feet at all. And if it stays in top position, or it stays on the feet, Geddes is in trouble. She actually is tough, I believe, so she will kind of make it ugly maybe, but she actually fought the opponent Knight fought in her MMA debut in a Muay Thai match, and it was some of the ugliest striking I've ever seen. But she doesn't quit. She does have dog in her, and she's willing to walk through shots to get into the clinch, but I don't think she's ever been hit like Knight is going to hit her, and she doesn't really have great power. She has no knockouts, and she has been finished twice by KO/TKO as an amateur, but never as a pro. She is okay on the mat. She doesn't really have great takedowns, but she's aggressive in the clinch, and she doesn't look too strong there. I kind of feel like Knight's going to have the physicality advantage, and I do think Knight needs to avoid getting put on her back here, because Geddes, she does leave a lot of holes herself to be submitted, but she's one of those girls who's a scrambler. She immediately starts going for submissions, and that's dangerous against girls with limited experience like Knight. She is a good armbar, or she has a good armbar. She will look to take the back, get a rear naked choke, and she has won 3 in a row, so she probably is confident, feels like she has a big opportunity here, and I'm going to go ahead and go with Knight, though. I'm not super confident, but I feel like she should be able to keep it standing, be the better athlete, better striker, beat up Emily. And if Emily can get it to the mat, betters of Knight kind of will get nervous. But I kind of feel like, when I was watching Gatti, she leaves a lot of opportunities, like her arm right out there, easy to get subs. So I wouldn't even be shocked if Ava Knight got a submission. I mean, I would be a little bit shocked, but not like blown away. And I definitely think she's going to get the win here. And I'm going to say she'll get a TKO in this fight, though. And in this matchup, we have Raymond Daniels, the kickboxing legend. He's taking on his second fight in Bellator, and he's going to be fighting the MMA veteran Jason King. And Daniels, he did make his debut in MMA all the way back in Strikeforce in 2008. In that fight, he did get submitted by a rear naked choke, and then after that, he took 10 years away from MMA before fighting again. And he returned to the cage in Bellator, like I said, in 2019. He earned a highlight reel knockout victory, 7-20 to a left hook. It was pretty nasty, and he's 35-3 kickboxer. He is the current Bellator kickboxing world champion. I believe he's also the former Glory kickboxing world champion as well. And Daniels, let's see if he could take this MMA thing, how far he could take it at 39 years old. His opponent in his Bellator debut was 0-0, so kind of that was just to get his feet wet. He did get the victory there, and he's getting a little bit of a stiffer test here in Jason King, who is a 13-fight MMA veteran who has won 3 of his last 4 fights. And King is a finisher. He's won all of his fights by finish, and only has gone to decision 1 time in his whole career. But the competition level for King has been low, and this is 100% the most high profile spike that he has here. And he's fought the majority of his career in Valor, fighting in Tennessee, and I'm not really impressed at all on film with how he looks. His striking is not good. He will throw some decent jabs, uppercuts, hooks, but his hooks are very tight. He doesn't really have good range with them, and he throws punches kind of with his hands completely down, his chin right in the air. Also stands very upright. He will throw some decent kicks, and he's an athlete. I mean, you'll see him doing flips and stuff after he wins, but on the feet, I mean, he's going to get knocked out quickly if this stays standing. He does have some short-range power, but, he isn't going to catch Daniels with any of that sloppy shit, I don't think. And he doesn't really wrestle. He did hit a body lock on a low-level opponent in a fight I saw, but doesn't look to possess high-level wrestling skills. His game off his back is also weak. I don't think he's going to have the ability to get inside, set up a takedown. King has been knocked out 4 times, but he does have 6 knockouts, 2 submission wins, and I guess he's going to be looking to get it to the ground and get another one. But anyone who's a fan of kickboxing is going to know who Raymond Daniels is. He's a extremely flashy point karate taekwondo fighter, and he does hold wins over Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Michael Venom Page, I believe 3 times, and many big names in that sport. And he has some of the best kicking technique in the history of kicking. I mean, straight up. And he controls distance with feints, side-to-side lateral movement. Very nice jab, 1-2. He does stay long with his punches, and he'll attack all parts of the body. He finished his last match with a nasty left hook, like I said, after a tornado kick, 7-20. And he will leap in with Superman punches, elbows, and his spinning kicks are incredible, man. I mean, he throws them with little tail, little wind up, out of nowhere. I mean, he'll throw front leg side kicks, round kicks, front kicks, jumping kicks. He has every kick in the book, and he is 39 years old. His movement is not as fast as it used to be, and fighters in kickboxing, and even his opponent in his MMA debut a little bit, was able to cut him off, clinch him up, back him up towards the cage. And I kind of wish Daniels would have stuck with MMA when he entered in 2008, because he's still extremely dangerous now, but he would have been maybe very dangerous back then. And he's going to have a huge technical advantage on the feet. He's going to probably find a knockout here. He really doesn't have a high-level guy in front of him, and I don't think he's going to have to deal with getting taken down. I'm going to go with Raymond Daniels to beat another regional scene talent here, get a knockout. I do feel Raymond, he may struggle a little bit to beat top-level competition and climb the ranks, but I mean, I did hear an interview where he was talking about Douglas Lima, so he's taking this seriously. He wants to see how far he could take it, and I don't think a guy like Jason King is going to derail him. So I'm going with Raymond Daniels by knockout here. And I'm next we have a fight that I'm actually thinking about making a bet on with Juan Archuleta versus Henry Corrales. Both these guys are looking to bounce back from losses that did snap long win streaks. Archuleta, he worked his way up to a title shot at 145 pounds, but ultimately was dominated by Pitbull Frady and got sent back. And Henry Corrales, he lost a wrestling heavy decision to Darion Caldwell in his last fight. But for Archuleta, he is a former college wrestler. He's very athletic, explosive. He trains with TJ Dillashaw, those guys at the training lab in California. And, Corrales, he's a fighter training, not a fight ready. So both these guys have good camps behind them. And Corrales, he's fought the who's who in Bellator. And on the feet, both these guys are pretty dangerous. But Henry Corrales, he's much more technical. Archuleta, he's an exploder. He likes to bounce around on the outside and explode in with overhand straight hook combos, and he has one-punch power that was evident in his fight with Eduardo Dantas, but he has decent jabs, double jabs. He'll jump in with leaping left and right hooks, solid uppercut, and he has a good one too, but like I said, his striking really isn't technical if he's forced to strike in the pocket, and when opponents can cut him off, they seem to be able to land shots as his chin tends to be high. If an opponent can time his entries into a strike or a takedown, they can't hurt him. Pitbull did sit him down in that way. And Archuleta will throw some flying knees. He can get creative, feint level changes, come up with flying knees, come up with uppercuts. And he does have big power. He can finish the fight with one punch, 10 knockouts. And Archuleta has a nice body lock, good at, staying connected, leaning on opponents, mat returning them, wearing them out. Good singles, good doubles. He's explosive, and when he gets fighters down, he isn't super dangerous. He's more of a grinder on top, isn't a big submission threat. He hasn't been able to really hold down higher level competition, and his last 3 fights been mainly on the feet. Archuleta really, has become more of a striker recently, and he has elite cardio. He doesn't really slow down. Henry Corrales, he isn't the same color athlete or wrestler as Archuleta, but he's not to be slept on, man. Corrales has very sharp, tight striking technique, one-punch knockout power, and heavy low kicks. He has a nasty jab, good 1-2, a straight right hand to the body, and head is very fast, very straight. He rips nasty hook, straight punches to the body also, and really nice left hook, overhand right. Good timing on his shots, good uppercuts, and he does kind of have a tendency to sit down and wing shots, get wild sometimes. He can get hit and kind of want to get it back. And he has to stay more composed here, sharp, not brawl with Archuleta. And he has kind of struggled to defend takedowns, especially against Darion Caldwell. But I feel Archuleta won't be as effective maybe. Corrales, he's going to have another camp of takedown defense. And Archuleta, he isn't nearly as credentialed in wrestling or as big as Caldwell. Archuleta has also competed at 135 pounds previously. And Caldwell, he's also a fighter who's much more active with this wrestling MMA and doesn't open up much in the striking. He plays a very safe game. And Archuleta usually comes in wild, really going for it, trying to take fighters out on the feet. And he opens himself up, and that's where Corrales has to capitalize, stick and hurt him. And Corrales needs to pressure, stalk, force out bad takedown attempts, blitzes, and touch him up. And if he can get Archuleta desperate, that's where he can catch him by being calm in the chaos, landing a tight shot as Archuleta goes wide. And Archuleta should go takedown heavy here, look to take the path of least resistance. And we're all about making money here. And I saw the line that Archuleta is minus 400, so I kind of think that line is way off. So I'm going to pick Corrales via second round KO TKO here. And I think he has a good chance of doing it. I've never been super high on Juan Archuleta. If you heard, I did do the last breakdown when he fought Pitbull. I did put a bet on Pitbull, cashed very easily there. And I'm thinking about putting a bet on Henry Corrales. So my pick's going to be Henry Corrales here. And up next here we have a fight with Sergio Pettis versus Alfred Kazakian. And Sergio Pettis, he's making his Bellator debut. He did have a nice run in the UFC, and moving back up to bantamweight here for his Bellator run. They don't have a flyweight division, and he kind of struggled at bantamweight in the UFC, but we're going to see what happens here. And his first opponent, he's going to be fighting Alfred Kazakian. And Alfred, he's a 2-time Dana White Contender Series veteran. He lost both those fights, though, to Sean O'Malley and Ricardo Ramos. Those aren't bad losses. Both those guys are making their way in the UFC right now. And Kazakian, he's looking to build off a 3-0 2019. He's won all 3 matches by KO TKO, and he's 11-4. He does hold some wins over UFC vets, Albert Morales, Chris Beal, and all 11 of Kazakian's wins are by KO TKO. And he's a big guy. He's missed weight for 135 before, so he's going to have a size advantage here. He's more of a puncher. He has brutal short-range power, and he wants to walk you down, cut you off, get inside, throw big hooks, uppercuts, and put your lights out, man. And he does have some wrestling, but doesn't look very active, very high level with it. I don't really see him getting down someone the caliber of Pettis and holding him down. I expect this fight to play out on the feet more than likely. And I think Alfred, he's a very rough guy. He's a guy like confident. He talks a lot of shit, and I think he's going to want to go in there and knock Pettis out. I think that's going to be his game plan, and I think it's going to be a similar fight to the Pettis versus Tyson Nam, where Pettis was just too fast. He was able to stick him, get out the way, land, and move. But, if Alfred catches Pettis, definitely could put him out. And, a lot of these guys traditionally have had a lot of problems in their Bellator debut coming from the UFC. And, Anthony just lost. Who knows how Pettis is thinking right now. But, man, I just think that the speed difference is too much here. So, I kind of feel like Sergio's going to go out there and finesse Alfred, because Alfred isn't a guy that's going to try to take him down very much, I don't think. So my pick's going to be Sergio Pettis to win a 3-round decision here. Man, this is a high-level fight right here. Darion Caldwell versus Adam Borics, 2 featherweight beasts. And this is going to be a game, right? Okay, so you have Borics, who's a athletic, explosive, composed counter-striker. He's going to be throwing low kicks, long, straight punches, and looking to time Caldwell coming in or counter a takedown with that big flying knee. And he's going to be taking on a specialist in Caldwell. Caldwell, he's one of the best pure wrestlers in MMA, one of the best wrestlers in college wrestling history. And he's very long, athletic, but his striking is not high level. He likes to use a lot of movement, kicks, athletic actions, stay on the outside until his opponent will overcommit or he sees an opportunity to shoot a takedown. He doesn't really have great hands, even though he does have some power. He will, feint and some takedown attempts, come over the top, come up with the uppercut, and he just seems a little bit afraid to trade. He doesn't like getting hit. And even in top position when he gets takedowns with the single, with the double, his takedown shots are very explosive. He could chain wrestle with clinch attempts, and he just isn't very active. He can be boring with the style in top position. He kind of just does just enough to keep the ref from standing up, or if opponents get up, he stays attached, controls against the cage, mat returns, and, doesn't take a lot of risks. He isn't a big submission threat. He does have some nice front chokes, but both guys have, decent cardio, even though I would say Caldwell is the guy that'll get more tired. He gets a little bit winded in the 3rd round or the 5th round of fights and kind of will backpedal, just try to, after he thinks he has the round 1, he doesn't take any risks at all. And Borics, he's undefeated. He's 14-0. Caldwell, he's 14-3, 2 sub losses. And if Caldwell gets in on Borics' legs, he's going to take Borics down. So that's where the game comes in. Borics is going to try to stay technical on the outside, force Caldwell to shoot. Caldwell is going to be looking to safely get inside, and if he gets caught, boom, Borics wins. If he gets in on the legs for 5 rounds, he probably is going to win, but I think Borics won't be super easy to hold down. Pico was able to hold him down, and Caldwell was a bigger guy, so maybe early on in the fight, he may be able to hold Borics down a little bit, but as the fight goes on, this is a 5-rounder. I think it's going to get progressively harder. And Borics is definitely the more composed, tougher guy. He's going to be the cleaner striker. He has the better chance of finishing the fight, in my opinion. And I think in this matchup that it might just be Borics' time. Caldwell has to be perfect for 5 rounds, most likely, but Borics only has to be perfect for one moment in the fight. And I think at one point Borics is going to catch and take Caldwell out. So I'm going to go with Adam Borics. The submission or knockout here, but the pick's going to be Adam Borics. In the main event here, Julia Budd taking on Cris Cyborg. And this is a battle with 2 respected featherweights. Probably, 2 of the top 3 ranked featherweights in the world. And the winner will walk away with the Bellator strap. Julia Budd, she has won 11 consecutive fights, and she hasn't lost since 2011. Her 2 losses have come against Amanda Nunes and Ronda Rousey, so high-level competition there. And she holds victories over Jermaine Durandamy, Arlene Blanco, Marlos Kunin. So, she has beaten some decent names, but a win over Cyborg would kind of cement her as a legend of women's MMA. And Cris Cyborg, she's trying to become the first fighter to hold a title in 4 major MMA organizations. And she has already held the belt for Strikeforce, Invicta, the UFC, and now she's going to be looking to add the Bellator strap to her collection. But Julia Budd, she's a big, muscular opponent. She's going to be able to match the size of Cyborg. And Budd, she isn't a great striker, but she's pretty athletic. She is a Muay Thai girl, and she's bulky. She really doesn't have the best movement to me. She backs up. She gives up the center pretty easily. She's a good kicker. She has heavy low kicks, nice front kicks, body head, and some decent round kicks, but isn't a great puncher. She will throw some straight overhand punches, mostly to get inside, and she does have some decent power, but she doesn't throw in combination unless she could back opponents towards the cage. And she's very strong in the clinch, nice knees, good body locks, good double legs, and she's good on tops, nice triangle, good ground and pound from mount. She likes to get the crucifix and isn't a big submission threat. She only has 1 submission, and she has 6 KO TKOs, and she has been KO'd 1 time against Amanda Nunes. I believe that was in like 14 seconds, so she just got blitzed there. But she needs to get this fight to the mat. She is kind of at a big disadvantage on the feet. She's just too tight, slow in my opinion. She backs up to the fence. She gives up the center way too easily. She struggled with the striking and had 2 controversial decision victories over Arlene Blanco, who's a boxer. And I feel Cyborg is much faster, hits way harder than Blanco. And if Budd can get takedowns, use her kicks, try to move, stay at range on the outside, she may pull off the upset. In top position, Budd may have a chance to control and win a decision, but I thought Cyborg looked really good her last fight. She dominated. She did get cut early, so she battled through some adversity, but I think that Cyborg is still fast, man. She still throws in combination, and she still stalks you. So I think even if this fight stays on the feet for 5 rounds and Budd can survive, she's going to be going forward. She's going to be throwing combos, and I think Budd's going to be the one being much more defensive. I just don't think Budd is going to be able to take her down and hold her down or control her on the mat. I don't think she's going to be able to strike or outstrike with her. So, I feel like Cyborg's going to get the win here. Do I think she's going to get a finish? I kind of do. I kind of think she is going to get a 3rd round, maybe 2nd, 3rd round KO, TKO. I just think that Julia Budd puts herself against the cage too much, and that's a bad recipe against a girl like Cyborg. So that's why I'm going with Cyborg here. And for the play on this card, my play is actually going to be Adam Borics to get the win. He's currently at plus 100 on 5 dimes, so it's not going to be a parlay, but it's going to be a play on Borics. And my most confident pick is, I don't know, probably going to be, I guess I would say Raymond Daniels. And for the underdog of the week or the underdog play, I would say, put up a shot on Henry Corrales. He does have a good chance to victory. And so thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. And if you haven't checked out the UFC Raleigh breakdown card, check that one out. And thanks for listening.